Those were the days, an advancement you receive when entering a Bastion Remnant. It's not the most difficult advancement to earn by any means, but it does reveal some interesting lore about Minecraft. It implies that piglins and the piglin society as a whole were much better functioning and in general more relevant back in the day, before whatever led to their downfall. All that's left now are Bastion remnants that the piglins so dearly cling onto and protect. Wait, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the name of the advancement, Those Were the Days. Not only does it help give a bit of context behind one of Minecraft's most dangerous and misunderstood structures, but it perfectly reflects another interesting facet of Minecraft itself, nostalgia, and more specifically how we as players tend to think those really were the days back then when playing the game for the first time. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing inherently wrong with being nostalgic about anything, especially Minecraft. I'm nostalgic about the game too. Heck, I'm nostalgic about a lot of things. I miss my first time playing Apex Legends back when it was in its prime. I miss when TF2 still received full-blown content updates like back in the day. I miss trying my first Mountain Dew at Thanksgiving dinner back in 2012. Okay, actually, that last one's kind of embarrassing. Minecraft and nostalgia are so intertwined that they're nearly impossible to separate, and I don't think being nostalgic for Minecraft is the biggest issue to begin with. I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking back on the game fondly in its early years. But personally, I see a couple of smaller problems and quirks with nostalgia for Minecraft that can sometimes hinder your enjoyment of the game, and occasionally, life in general. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about what I see as slightly problematic with nostalgia for Minecraft specifically. Now I want to make this clear, this video is not meant to be an attack on anyone nostalgic for Minecraft or on people who enjoy older versions of the game. If you find yourself in either of these groups, that's just fine. You're free to enjoy the game or fondly look back on it however you'd like. This is just a discussion on some smaller issues I personally see as a result of being nostalgic about our favorite block game. So if you have any thoughts about the points I'm about to make, or if you feel a certain way about Minecraft back then, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, let me explain what I see as Minecraft's nostalgia problem. Now, I can confidently say that the overwhelming majority of the player base, including myself, first started playing the game as a kid. When I was building my first ever base back in 2012 on the Xbox 360 TU1 world, I was obviously much younger, but also had far fewer responsibilities back then. No bills to pay, no job to almost be late to every day because traffic never seems to clear fast enough, no car to go wherever I want, none of that. My biggest concerns back then were making sure I did my chores so that I wouldn't be told to get off the Xbox and figuring out what blocks to build my next project out of. And back then, both the PC and console versions of Minecraft were far simpler than they've ever been. Specifically, back in the alpha and beta days, block, biome, and mob varieties were much more limited, and to the game's credit, this definitely promoted creativity through limited gameplay variety, and creativity in a game like Minecraft is always a good thing. I feel like the whole connection between Minecraft and nostalgia stems directly from the simple nature of both the game back then and our own lives at the time. From my own experience, I felt nostalgic for the simpler times in Alpha Minecraft, mainly because the time in which I enjoyed it the most, my childhood, was a much simpler time to begin with, and I'm pretty sure that many of you feel the same way. But the biggest issue I have with this is that because of how simple our childhoods in Minecraft were back then, the game was often considered better at the time. I'm of the opinion that something being simple doesn't always mean that it's better. The game 100% had a fun charm back then when gameplay was much more straightforward, and I'll always cherish the simplicity Minecraft had in its early years. But I don't think the game was strictly better back then just because my own life was simpler. Honestly, if anything, I think the game is better and more enjoyable now than ever before. I feel like as an adult, I can more easily focus on playing the game and building the projects I've always wanted to, without all of the distractions and hyperactive nature I had when I was much younger. So if you ask me, Minecraft's biggest connection to nostalgia is a direct result of looking back on life and realizing how simple both the game and our childhoods were. And while I don't see this as a huge problem, it can definitely become one if we focus too much on what was back then instead of what is right now. Now, another thing I've noticed about nostalgia for the game is that many people would agree that Minecraft was more fun in general back when we all first started playing. And I would partially agree with that statement because there was definitely a charm playing the game back in its early days. Like I said earlier, many players attribute Minecraft to being better back in the day due to early versions of the game being far simpler and more basic, and these are also likely the versions many of today's players first started playing the game in. But your first couple of times playing Minecraft usually feel more fun than any other time you've played it, so why is that? Well, there's actually an explanation. There's a concept known as the novelty effect, where in the simplest of terms, you tend to enjoy or appreciate something more the first time you're introduced or exposed to it more than subsequent interactions with the same thing. Sorry about all of the big words. A good example of this would be going to a new vacation spot and having a greater time there than the next time you go, or even the next couple of times. Or you might enjoy a new food for the first time you eat it instead of maybe the next time, like having it for leftovers the next day. Of course, the novelty effect may not apply to everybody and can vary due to all sorts of different outside factors, but it's a general phenomenon that's been recorded in a lot of people. But for a game like Minecraft, the novelty effect would definitely explain why our first building and mining sessions felt more magical than those same sessions today for lots of players. Us being exposed to the game for the first time in those simpler versions means that our initial enjoyment of the game was anchored to versions of the game far less complex than they are today. And this technically doesn't only apply to old versions of Minecraft. Even if you started playing the game only a year ago, your initial impressions of the game being so positive during your first couple of gaming sessions could occur in a version of Minecraft technically older than the latest version we have today, albeit not much older, but still older by definition. Now, I'm not trying to disparage anyone's first time playing the game and writing it off as disingenuous. In fact, I hold my first time playing Minecraft so dearly and consider it one of the best moments of my life, and I wouldn't want to take that precious memory away from anyone else. But because of the novelty effect, our first times playing the game may have been slightly influenced by an outside factor that makes us often look back on early Minecraft in this sort of superior light. A mindset people usually have when being nostalgic about anything is that they wish they could go back in time and experience something the same way they did in the past. And I've seen this a lot with old Minecraft. It's like the whole "those were the days" advancement I mentioned earlier. I think we so often look back fondly about Minecraft's glory days and their early inception, to the point where some of us, if somehow given the opportunity, would actually go back in time and play the game again for the first time. I've been there myself too. In all honesty, I've had this thought so many times, especially in recent years. But I personally feel like you won't get the same gameplay experience as you did all those years ago, even when you have direct access to older game versions today. I mean, you're able to play those older versions of the game like how you used to back then, so why does it feel so different now? Well, it's because you're different. No matter how young or old you were when you started playing the game, you've undoubtedly grown physically and mentally. You're not the same person you were back then. You have more experience in life through facing challenges, overcoming adversity, and just living. Nostalgia will be in the back of your mind telling you to relive those better and more innocent points of your life when playing Minecraft, but when you actually go and boot up previous versions of the game, it just won't be the same experience for some people. It'll still be fun for sure, there's no doubt about that, but there's always going to be something slightly different about playing those versions today. You. Yet I see that as Minecraft's grown and changed over time, so did I, and everyone else for that matter, and I think we all did so for the better. So if you're feeling nostalgic for playing Minecraft just like how you did back in the day, you're totally free to log on and play your favorite early versions of the game, but don't let nostalgia tell you that it's going to be the exact same experience you had before. Nostalgia is just a part of human nature. It lets us reminisce about the good times and the times we hold dearly in a positive light. And nostalgia towards Minecraft is a completely normal and acceptable thing. I'm nostalgic about the game too, I can't deny it, and I do miss the times when I first played the game all those years ago, but nostalgia has dug itself so deep into Minecraft that simply being nostalgic about the game can almost feel unhealthy sometimes. You're free to play the game however you'd like and whatever version you'd like, especially if you want to relive those early days of playing the game for the first time. That's completely fine. I just think that because we all love this game so much, it can be easy to let nostalgia turn our view of older Minecraft into one of superiority instead of fondness. And if you do think old Minecraft is better than modern, that's a completely fine take. In fact, let me know what version of the game you like best down in the comments. All I know is that Minecraft is a truly fun game and one of my favorites of all time. And while I'm nostalgic about the game myself, I think it's important to recognize that said nostalgia may not always be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's holding on so dearly to the past that appreciating the present becomes harder and harder. So the next time you're nostalgic about Minecraft, not only should you think about how those were the days, but appreciate the fact that those days passed us by, since if we always lived in the past, we could never truly appreciate it to begin with. So yes, those were the days, but today is another day too, and don't let nostalgia take that away from you. But what do you guys think? Would you agree with my take on nostalgia for the game, or do you have a different opinion of your own? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.